review of all of the brand new e.l.f. products that I purchased recently. I'm so excited to share these with you because we've got some good stuff, my friend. I'm not gonna ramble anymore, let's just get into it. So we're gonna go ahead and start off with my least favorite products and then move up to my favorites. So my least favorite products, I have two. The first one we're gonna get out of the way in the beginning, and that is the e.l.f. What is it called? It came in this box here, and it is the Gotta Glow Lip Tint in Perfect Pink. Now, this is one of those color changing lip product thingies. I did have it on earlier and it's come off since then, but I'm just gonna go ahead and put it on for you now so you can see the color. So that is how it looks when it goes on. You can see that it's got this light pink tinge to it, but then when you put it on, it changes. It's supposed to change to your body heat. Now, when it goes on, it feels quite moisturizing. It doesn't have any scent to it that I can smell at all. My only problem with this is it does not last very long. As soon as you do anything, the color's completely gone. Also, it dried my lips out something terrible. Like, I wore it earlier and all of a sudden I've got this huge crack in my lip. Like, it's just... This was probably the most drying lipstick I have ever used. Now, I have heard from other people, I did like a little mini review of this on my What's Up in Makeup app, and people were saying that this did not dry their lips out, but it dried my lips out. So there's a chance it may dry your lips out too. So I wanted to let you know about that. This is definitely a no for me. I will not be repurchasing this at all. This will actually probably, after this video, no longer exist just because I can't really pass it on to anybody and I don't really want anybody else's lips to be dried out. So that was a no for me. The other product that is a no for me is the bronzer palette. This here is the bronzer palette, and my first critique about this is there isn't much of a shade range. Like, I don't really get what they were thinking creating this. I mean, you can see right away, it's like, there just isn't much variation. Of course, they're all warm tone, they're not meant for contouring. I do like that there's this giant mirror here, boom. I like the giant mirror, but I don't know. This one has some good sparkle in it. This one is a satin, these two are mattes. But I'll show you some swatches of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just not impressive at all. I know I've got some old swatches. I was finding dupes for you guys for the eyeshadow palettes, so there's some weird swatches going on. But you can see this one here, that last one, is the only one that's really worth anything. That one's this one down here. And I don't feel like this is worth the $6 just for this one shade. I don't feel like it performs well enough. As far as the one with the sparkle in it, you don't even really see the sparkle if that's something you're looking for. So no, I would not recommend this one. Probably gonna be passing this on to somebody, I don't know, someone that's not used to using bronzers and just wants a very light bronzer. So this is a no for me. All right, so moving on to the good stuff, because pretty much everything else is good stuff. Yeah, let's just go, since we just did the bronzer palette, let's talk about the contour palette next. This contour palette is pretty stinking awesome. This is the way that it looks. Now, this is a personal critique. This is the thing I don't like about it, but for other people, it's not gonna make a difference. This highlighter here is pretty much my skin tone. Like, when I swatch it on my hand, it's like, well, my hand is a little bit darker than my face, I think. I don't know, but anyway, when I try to, let me just tell you, application-wise, when I try to apply this to my skin, it just blends right in like a powder. It does not do anything. It does have a yellow tint to it, so if that does not match your skin tone, just be aware of that. But these three are awesome. Oh my goodness, they are fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. I am wearing this contour palette today. I don't know if you can still see it. I put my makeup on quite a few hours ago, but you can see that it is still very much there. Very excited about this. I will swatchity for you. Highlight, bronzer, contour. Girlfriend, wait till you see this. Wait till you see this. Oh, oh, bam, bam, bam. Oh, I was like, what? Seriously? And then I got another what for you. All right, wait. This is a Smashbox contour palette. Highlight. It's coming. Bronzer, contour. Highlight. Bronzer, contour. Okay, they're not exact dupes. All right, but they're pretty stinking close. This is my holy grail right now, contour palette. Okay, I've used the stink out of this thing. Like, I love this contour palette. It's close enough to a dupe for me that I feel like I don't really even need this anymore. I feel like this one is just as good, and this is $6. And I will put the price for the Smashbox one down below. I don't know it off the top of my head, but look, 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 look. Ooh, so what? I'm excited about that. You know, I mean, like I said, they're not exact. Well, they're pretty stinking close to dupes. They're pretty stinking close. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to the eyeshadow palettes. Now, there are 4 of them, and I got all 4. First one that I'm going to talk about is Party Ready. There's also Mad for Matte, Everyday Smoky, and Need It Nude. But we're going to start with my least favorite, which is the Party Ready. When you look at it initially, it's kind of like, wow, that thing's kind of crazy, right? Like, but it's really not. It's really not. The shades are pretty subtle, believe it or not. And I really feel like this palette is best for people that are just getting used to color. They're just kind of starting off with color. If you like a big huge pop of color, you're gonna think this is weak. You're gonna straight up think it's weak. So if you just want to experiment with color with, you know, some neutrals, with some smokiness, I would definitely recommend this palette. The other thing I want to mention about this palette is the lasting power is not fabulous. By the end of the day, it's faded significantly, so just be aware of that. Let me go ahead and go into a few dupes for you. Now, I don't have as many dupes for this palette as I do for some of the other ones. So the first one I want to show you is this third one here. And I'm going to go ahead and always put the e.l.f. one is always going to be first, closest to my knuckles. So here is the e.l.f. one, and you can see how creamy that is. And I'm only going to do finger swatches, but you know, this is because we're doing a dupe purpose. So just know that when you apply them to the eyes, it is slightly different. But anyway, let me show you the dupes. So this one is the Steal It in the Garden palette, and I'm going to show you Honey. And I apologize, I just realized my nail polish is chipped, but y'all be alright, you'll survive with that, right? So there's Honey. So close, this one's a bit warmer, but you're gonna get a similar look with it. And then here is my Lorac Mega Pro that's very dirty because I give it lots of love. And I'm going to show you Copper. And I think Copper is a closer dupe for the e.l.f. palette here than Honey is, but I wanted to show you those just because they're pretty similar. The only other one that I have a dupe for in here is this pink one here. There's that. And then that is a dupe for Urban Decay's Alchemy. Oh my goodness, the rain's really picking up out there. All right, the Alchemy shade that I have is in the Vice 3 palette. I believe they sell it in a single though, and it's right here. So there is Alchemy. So you'll see there is a slight difference, of course. This one is definitely more pigmented. Like I said, Alchemy is going to stay in your eyes forever, where the e.l.f. one is going to fade through the day. Okay, so here are all of the shades. I'll just kind of hold those up here for you so you can see what they look like. I mean, these are not what you would expect for e.l.f. shadows. Like I've bought e.l.f. shadows before, and this is not typical for e.l.f. shadows. Like this is pretty awesome. My favorite shades in here are this first one. It's a frosty white with a yellow tint to it, and it's absolutely gorgeous. Of course, I love the Copper shade. I really like this pink shade here, and this blue one here is beautiful. It's like a a blackish with some blue sparkle in it. Man, it's raining. And it looks like that in the pan. And it's just like a midnight blue with blue sparkles. One thing I love about this white color is that it shifts from a white, frosty white to a yellow, and it's just really cool. I've never quite seen a shade like that. You probably have, because you probably know more shades than I do. But I mean, it's just absolutely gorgeous the way that shifts. Okay, the next one that we're gonna talk about is the Mad for Matte palette. Now, I'm not saying this is a bad palette, but this is my next least favorite. I would say that this is my least most favorite. Let's go for that one. I do like this palette a lot, but if I were to recommend this one, this would not be on the top of my list. The matte shades are very nice. For drugstore mattes, I mean, I've heard that matte eyeshadows are very difficult to make, and I feel like for drugstore mattes, that this is a really, really nice palette. Let me go ahead and show you some of the dupes that I found. Okay, so we're gonna start with this one. e.l.f. is always going to be by my knuckles. And we're going to dupe that with the Lorac Pro 2 palette, and we're going to go into light brown, which is here. There you go. So you can see there's a tiny bit of a tone difference, but I don't think that there's going to be a difference on the eye. The fourth one, which is here, next to there. So that's e.l.f. 4. Nectar from Lorac 2. You can definitely feel a butteriness in the Lorac that you don't feel with the e.l.f. And again, you can see a little bit of a difference in the pigmentation, that the Lorac is definitely has more opacity than the e.l.f. And so we're gonna go with this one here. And this one I found to be a dupe for Urban Decay's Tease. So there is e.l.f. 7, Matte 7. And we're gonna break into the Naked 2 palette, Tease. Bam. So there you go. So there's the e.l.f. from the matte palette, and then there's Urban Decay's Tease from Naked 2. So this one is slightly warmer, but I think they're pretty close. I think on the eye they're going to look pretty similar. So that's all the dupes that I have for the matte palette. I'm going to go ahead and swatch the entire palette for you now. This is the entire palette swatched, and there is that. Now, as far as overall thoughts about this palette, I definitely am a bigger fan of the shades from here down. These two shades are pretty weak and powdery. It's a really big fight to get these two to show up, especially this one here, which kind of makes this more difficult to use for people with lighter skin. People with deeper skin, I think, are going to have an easier time because you could probably find a highlight shade somewhere else, but I like to use these kinds of shades on my all-over lid, and that kind of leaves me without an all-over lid color, so on people for lighter skin. People with darker skin are probably going to like this a little bit better. This one here, the dupe for Tease, is also a little bit chalky, so just keep that in mind. So, I mean, is it a great palette? No. Is it a good palette? Yes. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the Smoky palette. So here is the Smoky palette, and that is what that looks like there. I am really excited about this palette. If you are in need of a Smoky palette, I would definitely recommend this one. This one is a lot of fun to play with. That's the one I'm wearing on my eyes today. Just like the other two palettes, the lasting power is just kind of so-so on this, but it will last you through a school day or a work day just fine. It's just extending it into the evening, it kind of fades a bit. Okay, so let's go ahead and do Smoky 2, which is this one here. That rain is coming down. Bam. Okay, again, powdery on the lighter shades, be aware. Okay, but you can build this one up a little bit. So there's that, and we are going to put that with Lorac's Buff, which is in this palette, the Pro 2. And you'll see the difference in pigmentation right away. I mean, you can see the Lorac is much more opaque. But they can serve the same purpose if you want them to serve the same purpose. Now this one feels very chalky and powdery to swatch, but then when you put it on your eye, it just basically comes out with mostly glitter. You're gonna see mostly glitter. You're not going to get the opacity that you do with the dupe, but you can get it to work for you. This was the limited edition Kat Von D Spellbinding Eyeshadow book that came out a couple years ago, and this is one of my favorite palettes of all time. So this is Precious up here. And I will swatch that next to it. Okay, and you can see they're very similar. On someone with a deeper skin tone, you're really going to be able to see the dupiness. But the e.l.f. definitely has more sparkle in it. I have not experienced fallout with it though, which is very surprising. But I do use a primer, so if you don't use a primer, you may experience some fallout with that e.l.f. shade. Okay, next is going to be Smoky 5, which is this one here. So there's the e.l.f. Now we're going to break out the Kat Von D Interstellar palette, which is relatively new. And we're going to do 3 AM, which is this one here. And the Kat Von D one is just a tad bit deeper, but you can definitely use those for the same purpose. Okay, the next one is this gray here. We're going to go ahead and swatch that. Smoky 8, I like to call it. Which is there. I mean, it's beautiful. It works beautifully. I don't have the original Lorac palette. I wish I did. It'd be perfect for duping. And there's Lorac's charcoal. And then the last one is Smoky 10, which is the black. And I just wanted to compare that for you to the black from the Lorac. So there's the e.l.f. black. And then here's Lorac's black. There you go. Exciting, right? And then also Dark Throne by Kat Von D, also out of here, which is right here. So again, I'll tell you the blacks again. This is the e.l.f., this is the Lorac, and this is the Kat Von D. I'm gonna wipe these off and then I'm gonna swatch the whole palette. Right. So here is the Smoky palette swatched out for you. And then just some final thoughts. My favorite shades in here, I love this white. It's almost got an iridescence to it. It's got that shine that gives you that illusion of iridescence. It's a beautiful inner corner highlight. I absolutely love this shade here. I absolutely love this shade here. I really like this shade a lot, and this black is just perfect. It's perfect. I cannot believe that this black is a drugstore black. I can't believe it. I'm in shock. I'm absolutely in shock. And I'm in shock for these two too. Like, are you kidding me? Like, I'm just floored. So I really love this palette. Would highly recommend it. If you're looking for a smoky palette, highly, 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 highly recommend. Absolutely. All right, let's move on to my favorite, which is the Need It Nude palette. I cannot wait to show you this one. All right. I'm so excited. Ah, okay. This is the Need It Nude palette. I just am so excited about this one. Okay, that's what it looks like, okay? I don't have the original Naked palette. I don't have the Naked 3. All I have is the Naked 2, so I can't say as far as dupes for those. But I am going to show you some dupes that I found. I found quite a few for this palette. This one here is the first one. And I'm going to dupe this with Stila's Chinoy. So there is the e.l.f. and not as powdery as you would expect for that light of a shade. And then Stila's Chinoy is in here. I know, right? I know, right? Okay, moving on. Nude 2, which is here. And I'm going to dupe this with Stila's Wheat. I mean, what? What? That's drugstore? What? Bam. Bam. All right. Oh, can you tell how excited I am? Hopefully you're as excited as I am about this because I'm super excited. Nude 3 is right here. And I'm going to dupe this with Kat Von D's Sunset Boulevard. There's that. I mean, how gorgeous. Okay, Sunset Boulevard is in here. Just right here. Flood warning, flood warning. Dismiss, dismiss. All right. So this is Kat Von D's Sunset Boulevard. There you go. I feel like I still have swatches down here. Go away, swatches. You're no longer welcome. And I'm going to dupe this with Stila's Puppy. I couldn't find a dupe for Stila's Kitten. I was so sad. And then here's Stila's Puppy. And this palette here, by the way, this is the Eyes Are the Window to the Spirit palette. I believe these are still available. This is kind of like Stila's Best Of palette. Okay, hopefully you can see that. I feel like it's not coming off as well as I would like it to. Here is this one here, and I'm going to dupe that. It's not quite the same, but it's close to Loraak's Rose. I mean, look at that. Are you kidding me? Drugstore! Okay, here is Loraak's Rose. Now looking at that, I don't feel like those are dupes. Yeah, the puppy, I don't feel like puppy's a dupe anymore, now looking at it. Yeah, I disagree with myself now. If you were thinking that, I'm now with you. Okay, so let's do this one. And that's Loraak's Rose. So this one's a little bit more orange tone, this one's a little more peach tone, but still. Nude 6. Okay, that one is very similar to the one in the Party palette that goes with Loraak's Copper and Stila's Honey. I know. Oh my gosh, I'm dying. Okay, we'll just do Loraak's Copper. Okay. Slight tone difference, and then let's do Stila's Honey. I feel like Stila's Honey is a bit closer to this one, than the Copper from Loraak. Okay, I could not find a dupe for this one, so I'll just swatch it for you just for fun. I know there's a dupe out there. I know there is. I'm just not sure what it is. I don't own it. But it's like a brown with some gold sparkle in it. Nude 8 here. There's that. Oh, I don't have a dupe for that one either. So there you go. There's Nude 8. Nude 9. This one is a dupe for Urban Decay's Busted, which is a very famous shade. I wish there was a YDK dupe. I was looking for it. I couldn't find it. I was sad. But here's Busted. And Busted just a tad bit deeper, but very similar. And then I couldn't dupe this last one either exactly, this deep brown. I'm sure there's gotta be a dupe. There has to be. Because it's just a basic deep brown. So there you go. There's all the dupes. I'm going to go ahead and erase the high-end one and then just show you this palette on its own. All right, so those right there are these. This is my fave. I love it. I would recommend this to anybody of any skin tone. This is a fantastic drugstore palette. I feel like this compares to my high-end shadows, and I'm very, very honest about that. I don't say that lightly. If you look back at my other drugstore palette videos, you will see I did not compare any of those. The Maybelline, the L'Oreal, the, what else? Maybelline, L'Oreal, and Hard Candy. I did not compare those to high-end. I would compare these to high-end. I wouldn't compare them to my most amazing, awesome high-end, but I think that this definitely compares. I feel like you're gonna be able to get the exact same looks. They're so easy to work with. These last all day. Unlike the other palettes that I've showed you from the e.l.f. line, these last all day. So, whoa, I mean, really, really, really recommend. The only problem I've had with this was when I used the ColourPop highlight in Lunch Money all over my lid and used this one day, and I did find some creasing. But other than that, I've had no problems. I put it over MAC's Paint Pot and Painterly. I've put it over Urban Decay's Primer Potion. Primer Potion. I've done it just by itself without any primer, and I have absolutely loved this palette. So highly, 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 highly recommend this one. So that is my very rainy review of all of my e.l.f. products. So overall, my must-haves, if you're gonna call some kind of makeup a must-have, you know, when you're thinking beyond food, water, and shelter, these are my must-haves. The Need It Nude and the Contour palette are definitely must-have, followed very, very closely by the Smoky Eyes palette, which is also fab. My don't buys would be the lip product and the bronzer palette. The other ones are kind of in between. So I thank you so much for watching. If you're not already subscribed, you can click the subscribe button down below so you're notified when I make new videos. I will be linking at the end of this video and right there my other drugstore palette reviews that I did before this of the Hard Candy, the Maybelline, and the L'Oreal new palettes that came out recently, in case you have not seen that, so you can see my opinions on those palettes versus these. But I can tell you right now, I'm gonna say that the Need It Nude one is definitely going to top all of those. So, but if you want to see the swatches and everything for those, that's where you can find those. So I thank you so much for watching. Mad love, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!